everyone, welcome back to the makeup chair. For today's Monday makeup lesson, I'm actually going to talk you through how to create a makeup look from start to finish. This is going to be perfect for beginners who just don't know how to kind of begin and start to apply makeup. But for you guys who already know a lot about makeup, then you guys will probably just be interested to see what products that I use. So I'm going to start off by prepping my skin. I've already cleansed it, now I'm going to moisturize it. I'm actually going to start off with some SPF. This is the Benefit Dream Screen. I love this SPF because it disappears into the skin. It doesn't have that sort of greasy texture. Moving on to the eyes, I had a little bit of a crying attack last night, so I want to kind of soothe my eyes a little bit. I'm going to start off by using some eye drops. These eye drops just soothe your eyes so much. I always keep them beside my bed. And next I'm going to use Puff Off by Benefit, a thin layer at the top and at the bottom. You guys saw me this morning on Snapchat. This is what I was using the spoons for. You can do this without using that gel, but it does actually help the gel to kind of press it into the skin. And now for the lips, I'm going to use one of my favorite lip balms. This isn't just your typical lip balm, it's actually a medicated one. This stuff is phenomenal. It's great if you have really chapped lips, or if you have a little cut on your lip like I have here. I feel so much better already, and we've just done the prep. Now it's time to move on to some makeup. At this point you can use a primer. I'm not going to use one because I have that SPF Dream Screen and it makes my skin so soft. And next I'm going to apply some concealer. This is a heavy duty concealer, so I actually apply it underneath my foundation rather on top, because I just find that the foundation will mimic my skin texture better than this will. I'm going to use a tiny blending brush to apply this, and this is the Blank Canvas E10. So this is going to go underneath my eyes, and I apply it quite thickly, and then I blend it around my nose, over the blemishes. And then I just do little swirling motions to blend it out. I'm applying this underneath my eyes, even though it has a slight yellow tone in it, only because I don't have really dark kind of pigmentation problems. But if you do, I would recommend using a corrector underneath your makeup first, and that will just counteract the discoloration. You can also blend this across the lid because it makes a fantastic base for your eyeshadow. It will also give it something to hold on to. Actually, you'll find that your foundation goes on a lot better over the top of this concealer because it really holds on to the makeup. But bear in mind, it's very difficult to remove. You really have to work at it to remove it. Don't worry if it's not perfectly blended, because we're going to go over it with our foundation anyway, and our foundation brush will blend it even more. Next, I'm going to apply my foundation with my F20 by Blank Canvas Cosmetics. I love this brush at the moment. I don't recommend applying the foundation directly in here because it can get quite deep, but if you're really in a hurry, just blend it very quickly. And I'm just kind of dabbing it all over the skin just to start the whole process of actually getting it on there, but then you can start blending in a second. Any areas where you have quite a lot of concealer, just make sure to really pat it down, and this will just stop you from disturbing the concealer underneath. And on areas where you don't have a lot of concealer and you just need to blend, you can just do little quick motions blending down the face. Or if you're doing the forehead, blending across. Don't be afraid to blend your makeup down your jawline and a little bit down your neck. It'll just make sure it's nicely blended. Now it's all on the face, I'm going to start stippling and blending and softening it. So what I like to do for that is just barely touch the skin and just let the brush do its work. Just keep dabbing and pressing over the skin, and this will just build up a little bit of coverage for you, but it'll also soften and create kind of an airbrush look. Now if you want very light coverage, just swirl the foundation on and use a lot less. I wanted a little bit more full coverage today. When you're going around the hairline, make sure there's pretty much nothing on the brush and just kind of buff it in. And that will just make sure you don't have like a stopping line with your foundation. And then I can set it with some powder. So I'm actually going to be using the Catrice Nude powder. So I'm going to take the Blank Canvas F24. I'm barely touching the skin with the brush, and that way I'll just get a very soft amount of powder without it being too heavy. I've got combination skin, so I really don't need that much. After I do all of that kind of base work, I like to then do my eyebrows. Lately I've been using this Eyeliner palette, and it's fantastic because it has a wax, a powder, and then this highlighter. And I've been using the E38, which is the brow finisher by Blank Canvas. So I start off with a little bit of the wax from this palette, and then I start like from the kind of center and then out. And you literally just want to use this brush to go in the direction of the hairs, and this brush is amazing because it really picks up every little hair because it's kind of a little bit stiffer, so it coats each hair and brushes them into place. So once I have done that center section, I then do the outer edge. So So I use kind of what's left over on the brush, and then I dip into a little bit of the powder to kind of set it in place. And then I only use the powder on the inside because otherwise it can look kind of harsh. So I'm brushing in the direction of the hairs again because these hairs grow upwards. I'm pushing from the base up, and that way you get a really nice fade at this top part here. If I did a sharp line and kind of work downwards, it would create a really harsh brow. So working from the base upwards will give you that definition without it looking harsh. Now for the eyes, I'm going to use the Pippa palette because I love this palette. These are all matte shadows, so they work great for daytime. I'm going to use Lily, Ollie and Toby. I'm going to use those shadows with an E26 by Blank Canvas. This is one of my favourite brushes ever. Highly recommend it. I'm going to start off with a little bit of Ollie. You could also use your bronzer for this. I'm just going to push this like right into the crease and then slightly higher to blend it out. This is great for hooded eyes, especially for daytime, because it will just give you a little bit of subtle definition. And I'm going to grab a little bit of Toby and just blend this slightly into the outer corner crease. And finish with Lily all over the lid. This is such a gorgeous lid color, it just brightens the eyes so much. And I'm also going to use the highlighter in this palette, and this is actually for the tops of your cheeks, but you can also use it on the lid. So I'm just going to focus this on the inner corner. Moving on to curling the eyelashes. I'm always asked about what mascara I use, and it is the Rocket Mascara by Maybelline, and this is the waterproof. If you get the non-waterproof, it won't be as good, so just don't even bother. So wiggle right at the base and then just pull it through. Just to finish off the eyes, I will be applying some false eyelashes, and I do this about 50% of the time, which is why I wanted to show you guys. These ones are fantastic because I can chop them in half. They're the same length on the either end, so it's actually in the middle where they have the most fullness, so I can chop them in half and wear them as corner eyelashes, meaning that I get more wears out of it. So the longer edge always goes on the outer corner. As much as I love these eyelashes, I'm not a big fan of the glue, so I actually use the Eyeliner glue instead. This stuff is seriously amazing, and it's just as good as the duo glue, if not a little bit better. And it has a little wand application, so it's really easy to apply it onto the base. I always apply just an extra blob on the outer corner and the inner corner, and that just gives it something to hold on to, so it's going to be rock solid. Hold the band right in the middle, make sure there's no glue on the actual tweezers or whatever you're using, because otherwise you'll just pull them off when you go to pull away, and just place them right on the skin, right at the base of the lash line. Then close your eyes and close the tweezers, and make sure there's no gaps between your natural and your fake ones. Moving on to the cheeks, I'm going to use the Pippa palette again. I'm going to start off with the contour shade, and I'm going to use the F40 for this. And I'm just picking up a little bit of product just on the tip of the brush. Use the top of your ear and the corner of your mouth as a guide, and you just want to sweep this like in the hollow of your cheeks. Make sure your contour is darkest right by the ear and then softly blend it forward. Moving on to blush, I'm going to use the F15 by Blank Canvas. This is a gorgeous blush brush, and I'm just going to sweep that from the apples of the cheeks slightly back. So the majority of the color is going to be here, and then it's just swept backwards. And then finishing off with the highlighter. And I'm going to use the F05 for this. This is also by Blank Canvas. And I'm just sweeping this on the top of the cheeks. And I also like to do like a little V shape, like along here and also above it. So it's like, I don't know, like a double V almost. So we've done the 1, 2, 3. Use your fingers as a guide because they actually work out really well. You have your ring finger, which is a little bit shorter because your contour is shorter. You have your middle finger, which actually does your blush really well because your blush is a little bit longer. It kind of starts here and then works back. And then you have your index finger, which is a little bit longer than your contour but a little bit shorter than your blush. So use your fingers as a guide. Our two lipstick options, one is a nude, it's pretty close to my own natural color, it's just a little bit darker, and one is a gorgeous pink, and these are both by The Balm. They're both matte shades, which I love at the moment. And there you go, those are my two lip options, my full face of makeup. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, then make sure to leave a thumbs up or a comment letting me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of chit chat style videos, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye guys!